Hi, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 10 Netflix shows to watch. Now some of these are old ones, some of these are new ones, and if there's people out there that are my age, there will be a few in there as well. But yes, let's get started. So they're in no particular order whatsoever, but I'm going to start with the newer ones that are on Netflix, so that have been added within the year. The first one that I really enjoyed is The Haunting of Hill House. It was more of a thriller. It wasn't a very jump scare program, but it was really good, and it had lots of twists in it, and I was not expecting the way that it ended to end like that, but it was a good ending. So yeah, I really recommend The Haunting of Hill House. Like I said, there were twists and stuff. It did confuse me sometimes. All these kind of programs do this, because they kept on going from future to now and then past, and then now and then past. So sometimes that can confuse me, but once I've got into it, so usually halfway through the first episode, I kind of get the gist of kind of who's who in the present that like them in the past. That makes sense, because it wasn't like they look the same. They was going on the past of when they were children. So yeah, I had to kind of figure that out, but it was really good, and I really enjoyed it. If you don't like thrillers or horrors or anything like that, it's not that scary. There was, I mean, I quite like horror stuff, but there was probably only one part in it, the entire series, that made me jump. But I could literally watch a couple of shows and then go to bed without feeling like I had to watch something in between. Sometimes I have to do that if it was really scary. I have to watch something that was nice and happy before I go to bed. With Haunting of Hill House, I could easily just watch it and then go to sleep straight after. It was more thrilling, as in more exciting than it was scary for me. But yeah, I really recommend it. I absolutely loved it. The second one is You. I kind of enjoyed this, but I didn't at the same time. I think there's 14 episodes in it, and I got up to the 10th episode. I really do want to watch it and carry on watching it, but because it's about online things, social media and stalking and death and killing, it's more realistic to me. So I found You more terrifying than the Haunting of Hill House. I basically had to start watching it, because every time that I started watching it, especially obviously at the 10th episode, big things happen, I was getting very anxious, and I could not stand feeling that way watching a program, to where I was constantly fidgeting, or I'd have to distract myself on the phone so I wouldn't watch it, and then I'd watch it because I do really want to watch it, and then so it's a good program. But just be careful if you suffer from anxiety. Like I said, I do really want to watch it, but I just couldn't put myself to, even though I know I've watched more than half, I couldn't put myself through it watching another 5 episodes. It made me so anxious and so on edge, and yeah, I did not like the feeling, so I just thought, you know what, it's not worth it. I'm not watching it anymore. But it is really good, and there's lots of people that I know that watched the whole thing and been completely fine with it, but for some reason it caused me a lot of anxiety. The next one is, if you guys are born in the late 80s, early 90s, a similar age to me, then you more than likely would love this one, because I grew up watching this show, and it is Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Now, I grew up watching Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and I absolutely loved it. So as soon as I found out they were doing another kind of series of Sabrina, but kind of making it a bit different, I was so excited. Now, when I was younger, Sabrina was obviously aimed at younger children, but this Sabrina is aimed at our age. So the people that watched Sabrina when we was younger and grew up with Sabrina, because this is very dark. It's not childlike at all. It is very dark. So it's more like demons and monsters, and yeah, it's basically quite demonic. But I really enjoyed it. They've got a season out, and then at Christmas, because I was so excited, they released it at Halloween, of 2018, and then they brought a new a special episode out at Christmas, which I watched, and then they're bringing some more I think season 2 out this year. I'm not too sure when it is. It's either like beginning, so around about now, like Easter time, or it's November again. I'm not too sure. For some reason I want to say like Easter time, but I could be completely wrong. But it's sometime this year anyway that they're going to bring out the second season, so I cannot wait for that. Number 4 is something I've really been enjoying, is especially like if you're into Mrs. Hinch and things like that and gone obviously obsessed with tidying and cleaning. It is called Tidying Up with Marie Kondo. Now, it's a reality, and it's about obviously Marie. She's the one that kind of like goes through cleaning and goes through houses that either you hoard a lot of things or just very messy, and she goes through the process of cleaning with you and tells you what to do, but she does it in such a unique way and a nice way that it's just amazing. For example, she thanks things, she thanks the house. So basically you look at an item, and if it doesn't bring you joy, bring you happiness, or brings you like a memory that you love, then you don't need it, so just get rid of it. But it's a nice way, because when she gets rid of the clothes, she says you thank your clothes and then put them down. So you don't kind of like chuck your clothes across the floor or across the room. You kind of like thank them, neatly fold them and put them in a nice pile. So I really like that, the way that she was kind of like thanking them and thanking the memory of it, saying like, yes, you were helpful and things like that. Because in a way it is kind of like more for the personal development side as well. Like you thank something that gave you obviously comfort in that time, so if it was clothes and things like that, warmth, comfort, and you obviously are very grateful for having that. You no longer need it anymore, so that's when you kind of like put it to the side and put it away. But it's very good what she does, because she makes you like put everything in one pile, makes you realise how much stuff you actually have, and then obviously clear it out. So if you hoard things, or yeah, if you're just a little bit messy and unorganised, it's really good to watch. And then obviously they have the Marie Kondo folding method, where you obviously fold it in like 3 and put it up instead of like folding it flat. But yeah, I really like it. I'm enjoying it. I've not watched all of them yet. I've watched the majority of them. I think I've got like 1 or 2 left, but I really enjoy it. Right, now I'm going to go on the older ones. They're not that old, but it's just the past couple of years. The first one is, again, if you grew up a similar age to me in like late 20s, early 30s, you've probably watched Gilmore Girls. Now, they released, I think it was in 2017, they released a kind of like, I think it's 4 episodes extended on that. Each 4 episodes is like 2 hours, an hour and a half. But it's called Gilmore Girls, A Year in the Life. And they basically go through spring, summer, autumn, winter. And there's your 4 like episodes. And you go through that. So you have like characters from the original program that are in it. Yeah, it is, I love it. It's absolutely amazing. They need to add another one on it, because I don't think they are. I think they've completely written it off now, but they need to, because it was really good. Like I said, it was 2017, but it is on Netflix, and the original Gilmore Girls is also on Netflix. But I absolutely love that, and I'm one of those people that can go back to certain programs that I enjoy, and that is one of them that I have probably watched the episodes 2 to 3 times, because I really do like them. So it's one of those programs that if I've got nothing else to watch, I can easily revisit it and watch it again. Right, the next one is the same. It was out years and years ago, but they released a new season probably about a year or 2 ago, and this is Once Upon a Time. I absolutely love this program. It's basically about kind of like fairy tale characters, but in real life. These fairy tale characters kind of like go through a curse, so they come back to like, they come to the real world, have no magic, and they kind of, the curse makes them realise that they don't know actually who their fairy tale character is. And then through the seasons you have different fairy tale characters that show up, so like Elsa and Anna, yeah, Cinderella. You have loads of them that kind of like dip in, dip out. I think there's even Maui and Moana goes in, Moana? I can't speak. Maui and Moana goes in it as well. So yeah, I like the fact that it dips in to the newer princesses and the new kind of like fairy tale and Disney characters and stuff like that. There is a new season of it, which is basically based in the, well, not in the future, but it kind of skipped a few years. When I finished watching it, Henry, who was a little boy then, obviously who was about 10 when it first started, and then obviously it went on for a few years, so must have been like in his teens. But then this new season is basically him grown up into an adult, and kind of like the same thing happens again like it did in the first episode of the first Once Upon a Time. But no, it's really, really good. I enjoy it, especially if you like me, like I'm more of a grown-up Disney lover. It's really, really good. It kind of like puts a twist on the Disney characters and on the princesses and stuff like that. So I really, really enjoy it. And it's also one of those, again, that I can go back and revisit watching. That's what I'm doing at the minute. I'm on the second season right now, and I've already, this is probably like the third, fourth time I've watched it. It's one of those I can easily go back and revisit it and watch it again because I just love it. The next one is something a little bit different. I watched it like, I think it was last year, beginning of last year, and I really, really love it. It's called Girl Boss. Basically, and I didn't realise, notice this brand until after I watched this, and I really do like the brand. If you've heard of Nasty Gal, it's basically how Nasty Gal was made by obviously this one lady that went out, loved vintage clothes, and then basically was selling them on and getting more money for them, and then how she kind of like got herself a warehouse and it was just her working, and then with a couple of friends, and basically how she built a company. And it's really like down to earth and realistic, and it's just amazing, and it's really good obviously if you do like Nasty Gal clothing to kind of like see where that kind of came from and where she built it all. Like I said, I only knew Nasty Gal after watching this programme because I've got a couple of things from Nasty Gal now. But it's absolutely amazing, especially if you like fashion and things like that. I would really, really recommend it. Right, the next one is also quite an old one, but again, a couple of years ago they released a new season. It's Pretty Little Liars. I absolutely love Pretty Little Liars, and just like the others, I can rewatch that over and over and over again. Just before I started watching Once Upon a Time again, I was watching Pretty Little Liars. They released a new series. It was set, I think, 5 years in front of what they did because they had obviously a couple of years off. And then I think the last one or two episodes of basically the finale, they were then set in another year in front. So they had kind of like a little bit of a gap as well. But I absolutely love it. It's one of those as well, if you love fashion, they've got loads of good fashion stuff in there. Kind of if you like a little thriller, or like on your edge type of program, I absolutely love it. And like I said, it's one of those that I can go back and revisit it over and over again. I can't tell you how many times I've actually watched this, like the series is, because I've watched them so many times because I absolutely love them. Right, the next one, I wasn't going to include children's series, but this one I felt like I needed to, just because it's so different. I mean, I enjoy this, but I probably won't watch it by myself. I do watch it with my son. If you have children that are obsessed with Minecraft, then this is a really, really good program to watch. Well, it's not really watch, it's to do. And it is basically Minecraft story mode. Now, if you have a child that loves Minecraft, you've probably heard of Minecraft story mode. You can buy the first series on the Xbox, and it's basically an interaction game where it goes through kind of like scenarios, and you pick which way you kind of want to go and what you're going to say and react to that person. And basically the endings can be completely different to each people because of the choices that you've made through that. And yeah, and then you have to buy I think there's like 6 seasons, and they have to buy each one, but they've now released it on Netflix where you can physically play it on Netflix, and I think this is absolutely amazing. So sometimes we do this at night time, like in the evening, if it's kind of like games night, we'll just put that Netflix on and then put that on, because he really enjoys it. You kind of just press it up, down, left and right on the TV remote, and it's a really good program for like your kids to kind of play without playing, if that makes sense. So I would really, really recommend. Right, 10, which is the last and final one. This program I have not watched, but it's next on my list because it looks so good. It is called Working Mums, well, Moms, you know, the American version. And it looks so, so funny. It's basically a comedy about obviously working mums that are on maternity leave at the minute, and them kind of like going back into work and having to deal with the kind of like tasks of having a child, working, but also obviously balancing everything out. But it's just so funny. It's kind of like a very raw comedy where they kind of like take the mick out of themselves and say, I think that on the trailer it's like they're in baby yoga, and there's like the yoga instructor doing the yoga on the floor, and they're trying to get their babies to kind of like manipulate the moves that she's moving, and then they're just like, you know what, babies don't need yoga, so why are we here? It just looks so funny. I'm one of those people that I have a very strange like sense of humour. I'm more like the really ridiculous or realistic comedy, so things that make sense and that are funny because it makes sense and it's true, like that yoga comment, or things that are just like silly where people just fall over. So I'm kind of one of those when it comes to comedy. When it's a joke, I don't quite get it. So yeah, the comedy in it is so raw and so realistic, and like, that is right, but it's funny at the same time. Not one of those that kind of like a slap in the face, more like, oh yeah, that's right, that's funny. But yeah, I really want to watch it. It's definitely the next on my list. But yes, that is the 10 Netflix shows that I recommend. I absolutely love them. Like I said, there is one that I haven't watched yet, and I cannot wait to watch it because it looks so good. But if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you're new. I'm a mum of 2 to Andrew and Ava, and I upload 4 times a week on a Monday, Wednesday, Thursday and a Saturday, all about motherhood, lifestyle, fashion, beauty, hacks, cleaning and things like that basically. So if it's something you're interested in watching, don't forget to subscribe and press that bell. But I hope you have an amazing rest of the day, and I will see you all soon. Bye!